Welcome to Business Horizons, podcast series brought to you by NBSO Lyon, Southeast France, Netherlands Business Support Office. My name is Fred Kruse, and I'm tech journalist based in Lyon, France, and your podcast host. Together, we will explore topics about doing business in France, discuss key opportunities, we'll share business culture tips for Dutch companies looking to expand in the vibrant region of Lyon and Southeast France. In this episode, we'll be learning more about NBSO Network, matchmakers for the Dutch entrepreneurs, with our special guest, Stefano Oosthof, Chief Representative at NBSO Lyon, Southeast France office. So Stefano, can you tell us a bit more about your background and journey that brought you to Lyon and to NBSO Lyon?
Well, hello Fred, it's a pleasure to be here and thank you for having me. Yeah, good question. My background. I've been entrepreneur for 20 years. I am from the Netherlands, from The Hague. I've been working in brand positioning, business development and marketing strategies for quite some years, together with Dutch companies and international companies. And what I did and what I still do now is I support companies with their business growth internationally in the Netherlands. So that's a bit about background.
Okay, but why did you recently move to Lyon?
Previously, I've lived in Turin and I've lived in Berlin, and I have a really strong international background. I like to work with different cultures and also connecting our culture with different cultures. And we had the ambition to move to the south of France for a long time. And we've been exploring the region, and every time we came back to Lyon. There are many beautiful cities and villages in southeast France, but Lyon is like a good hub for living, doing business, quality of life, and also if you have a family. So that's why we ended up here in Lyon.
So how did you meet NBSO?
Well, what people will learn in this podcast is that matchmaking is very important, and it's not only in business. Matchmaking also is a part of life. And actually, when you start talking about your ambitions, it already started in the Netherlands. I met a person who said, hey, I know someone in Lyon, a Dutch person, a journalist, Ellen. So I had a coffee with her. And then she says, oh, I know someone who's also interesting. His name is Joris Houtman. He works at an NBSO. Have you ever heard of the NBSO? I said, no, we'll have a coffee with Joris. And the coffee turned into a lunch.
Okay. Now you know NBSO. Can you tell us a bit more about NBSO? What are you doing exactly?
Well, that's always a good question. I think it starts with what is NBSO? Because when I say I work at the NBSO, people say, what does it mean? I think the best way is always to start with, we're the Netherlands Business Support Office. That explains it better, but it's a long name. And we do exactly what it says. We have our office here. We are part of the NBSO network. It's globally. We have 23 offices in 12 countries. And in France, we have 3. There's an office in Nantes, there's an office in Lille, and we are, as said, we are in Lyon. And we really try to connect Dutch entrepreneurs who would like to expand to France. We try to matchmake, we try to set up events, we give them some coaching. And what's important to mention, we are a government party. We're part of the RVO and also of the Dutch embassy in Paris.
Okay. So imagine I'm a Dutch entrepreneur and I want to explore the French market. What can you do for me?
What is important to start with is we offer first-line support. We do not take companies to the table for negotiating business. We really support them, taking their first steps. And I think it's best to give an example in this to understand what we do. Like at this moment, I'm working with a company who has a new virtual reality immersive technology tool, which they would like to bring to our region. And for example, they wanted to attend an event. They had their aim set on this event, and they reached out to us. Well, and I informed them this event is not suitable for what you would like to do. We called with the event organizers. We shared the business they have, and the event organizer said, no, he should go to that event. So without the NBSO, they would have probably been at this event without the proper return on investment. So we provide a lot of guidance. And what we do with this company now, we try to connect them with tourism boards in a region. We try to connect them with city marketing agencies just to get them to present their innovation. That is a part of what you do. So matchmaking, market screening, and making sure that the right directions are chosen. And another one I can think of now, for example, is like a Dutch bakery innovation technology company. They were at the CIRA, which is a very important fair in our region. It's about food and hospitality. And it was a very inspiring for them. And now they say, okay, we would like to connect with the French bakery industry chain. For example, the Paul bakeries. Well, we all know them in France. So we set up introduction.
I can imagine you have a large network in France for business. Can you tell a bit more about this French network?
That is indeed how it is. That's our, I think it's the most valuable, unique select position we have of all the NBSO offices globally. We interact and meet with a lot of ecosystems in our region, which are municipalities, which are like business clusters. Clusters that also focus on international collaborations. For example, in Lyon, we work with only Lyon, but there's a big region called the Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes region, and we work with Aura Enterprises. But for Marseille and for Nice and Montpellier, we also work like with city representatives. We go to events. So, but not only on the French side, we also work with the Dutch entrepreneurs in this region. We are part of the Dutch Rhône-Alpes Business Club, which is a network of Dutch entrepreneurs, which we attend and connect with. Because sometimes you do not yet know the French language, you find the culture something you need to explore, and it's always good to learn from the people who went ahead of you.
I heard that you have organized recently an apéro with Dutch and French people. What are you going to do this again? What are you doing with that?
Yeah, that's a good thing. That is a new initiative from our side because we're based in Lyon and so much is happening in Lyon. We feel like we also need to cover like the rest of south of France. So what we have launched this year is the city apéros, and it's called Business Horizons. And per city, we try to bring together stakeholders from the city and also already Dutch entrepreneurs that are here, because sometimes they don't know them, but they would like to work together. And we also ask like entrepreneurs from the Netherlands or business clusters to participate. It's an event of maybe 20 people. The first one was in Lyon, and the next one we hope to have organized in Marseille. And there are also very relevant Dutch people there, like, for example, our honorary consuls are going to be there.
Okay, thank you, Stefano. As a Dutch entrepreneur, why should I set up my business in Southeast France, or why should I make business in this area? What sectors in this region are interesting for Dutch companies?
Well, to be honest, and of course no one would say different about their region, about their office, right? But I think the NBSO Lyon office in our region is maybe the best region, to do business in, to be honest. And I'm saying this why? I'm not saying because I have a passion for this region only, but because it's true. Our region is so big. We have, like said, cities like Marseille, Grenoble, Nice, and Lyon, Montpellier, and every city, every part of this region has its own focus. So it means if you are a business, you would, are a company, you would like to do business in France, in our region, of course we have focus sectors. But there's an opportunity for every company. Like, for example, what makes our region very special, and specifically for sectors, is, of course, we have some key sectors where we focus on. Like, for example, it's going to be air pollution, food recycling, and it can be also like microchips and maritime. But in general, that makes our sector so special, our region, because every city has its own focus. To zoom in on Lyon, they really focus on mobility, high-tech, circularity, but also, which you would not expect every time I talk about it, is video gaming. Lyon is one of the video game hubs of Europe. For example, Ubisoft is here, Bandai is here. So it's a major industry for if you're listening as a Dutch entrepreneur to do business with. Well, we have Marseille, of course, which people always think about the harbor. But Marseille also have urban development with Euro Mediterranee, which is a big project. Moving to Grenoble, for example, it's microchips and semiconductors. Montpellier, education. There are many universities there. And what's also nice to know, that is also, if from the NBSO we know the inside trends, Netflix is shooting a lot of series there. So Montpellier is also a good industry for entertainment. So also we have in our region Clermont-Ferrand, which is very important because it's the headquarters of Michelin. And like also, for example, I would like to mention like Volvo, Renault trucks, and even a Dutch company is here. It's the ANWB, which plays a really important role in our region because many Dutch people travel to the south of France for vacation, and ANWB is also here.
Can you tell us more about the sustainable technologies the region is developing, given the urgent need to address climate change and pollutions? You talk about waste industry, about the mobility.
Yes, I can tell about this. For example, for mobility, I think that has been a really important topic in this region. Lyon is investing a lot in the biking infrastructure and also like electric cars. But to zoom back on the biking structure we have in Lyon, the municipality of Lyon, for example, they visited the Netherlands. They went to The Hague, they went to Utrecht, and they had a lot of talks about how do you do this in Netherlands. And when you come here, you see bikes and biking lanes everywhere. And you see this also in Paris, but it's so good. And also the public transport. For food waste, there's also many talks going on in the city. Actually, in France, there's a new campaign going on to reduce food waste. Because apparently 40% of the food that is left over after a market or from restaurants or hotels is being thrown away. And in these times, that really is too much. So they're promoting new initiatives and innovations in that sector. And we're doing a lot with water management. You have the Port de Lyon. They are really focused on sustainable logistics. And an example I also would like to say is interesting to know is logistics is a really important topic in this region because Amazon outside of Lyon is building the biggest distribution hub of France. And they have not only chosen because it's nice to be in this area, but also because of the connectivity and the opportunity to reduce carbon footprints. So it's going to be opened, I think, in 2026, and it's going to be the biggest in France. So it's almost too much to discuss. It's such a vibrant region.
Yeah, we need a 1-hour podcast.
Yes, indeed.
Could you recommend a strategy that Dutch companies should follow to succeed on the French market?
When you do international business, what I have learned as an entrepreneur is you really need to understand the culture. I learned this in Italy and I learned this in Germany, but also in France. So I think as Dutch entrepreneurs, we're a small country and we're used to doing business. And the thing is, Dutch people are always welcome everywhere. And the thing is too, it makes us a bit arrogant because we sit at a table and we say, okay, here we are, the Dutch people, and we're here to do business. But in France, it works different. You need to be humble. You need to be well prepared. You need to be well dressed, for example, and also well addressed, right? Saying Mr. and Mrs., not starting your email with, hey, Fred, right? No, that doesn't work because hierarchy is also very important. So that is also where we provide coaching. We often experience that a company reaches out to us and then we say, okay, we can help you. We can help you. So do you have a presentation? Do you have like maybe a French salesperson? Do you speak French? No, but can you do this for us? I said, no, we're not a translation company. Like, for example, yesterday, I really would like to mention them. It's a company called, I'm going to promote them here. And why? Because I was super impressed. Orbisk. I had a call with them, and they are focused on food circulation, and they're really putting a lot of effort in our region. And I asked the person from Orbisk, okay, are you ready for France? Do you have like a video? Do you have this and that and that? He says, we have everything. We got a French video. We got a French one-pager. We got a brochure. We got an English website. We got French people on the ground. We are ready. And if they say, they are ready, it means we are ready, NBSO. So it was like, it doesn't happen that often that it's like that. We send people back to the drawing table too many times.
Okay. Can you give some examples of events that you are working on and where you want to invite some Dutch companies, for example?
Yeah, first of all, because we have a big region, there are so many events happening. And a tip that I would like to give also to the listeners is there are many events, but you should really need to read into. Sometimes you look on a website, you think, oh, that's a nice event. It's about tech. It's about innovation. I want to be there. But you should read into, is this a French event? Are there only French people? We had recently met a company in Paris. They were at a French event and we met them. We have never been in touch with them. And they say, we are very disappointed because we only spoke French people. We don't know French. And we didn't have any leads coming out of it. So yeah, so we mainly focus, of course, on events with an international touch. What is good to know and would like to share is that a big event, it's an anchor event we participate in, is Polytech Lyon, which takes place biannually. It's the biggest trade fair in France with a focus on recycling, waste and water. It's what's strong about Polytech. It has an international focus to it. It means that the French stakeholders who are visiting, they have an interest in doing business with international companies. There are also many Dutch companies there. And to just give an idea about how big it is, it has over 50,000 visitors with over 2,000 exhibitors. And what makes it even more special, how we participate in Polytech, is that we organize the NL Pavilion. And how you can see this, like we have a very big space in the Polytech. We are combining 15 to 20 companies. We ask them to join us. They pay a reasonable fee, which can be quite low because it's like a government support, but also bringing the companies together. And as I said, Polytech is very big, so if you come in there, you see many stands, difficult to find. But with the NL Pavilion, you see Netherlands, it's orange, and all the companies are there. So if you want to do business with the Netherlands, you just go there, and we we organize networking moments there, and we have a nice section to present the companies. And what's also very valuable, we do promotion for them. We set up stakeholder moments in advance. So if you would like to grow your business in our region, Polytech is key. And we're inviting companies to participate. So if you would like to join Polytech, it's in October. You can already reach out to us. And we have some slots left, so don't wait too long because we have a max of companies who can attend.
We talk about these topics before together. France is often perceived as a country with high taxes and heavy bureaucracy and frequent strikes. So why should I set up a business in this country?
Yeah,
well, I know it's a bit cliche, but
no, true. When you think about doing business, and even in my case, when you think about relocation, moving abroad, the first thing that you will hear from when you're still in the Netherlands, for example, is like the cliches. If you have not worked abroad, you don't it's your first international experience, you're stuck in what people tell you. But times change. France has also changed. It is true. When I came here, I heard about, there are strikes and it's maybe a bit like old-fashioned. But as I said, I'm here and from being in Berlin, which is a really high-end city on innovation and international profile, I really think like France is investing a lot in changing the tax approach. There are less strikes, there's more innovation, and sometimes even more innovation in other cities. I can really pay with my card, my phone everywhere. When I go to public transport, I can just pay by phone. When I was in Berlin, I couldn't. I had to have like paper cards. So sometimes, we think that France is a bit more behind but it isn't. They're really on the forefront of international growth and innovation. So see opportunities in coming here, and there are solutions for everything.
Okay, thank you. So French people are not so bad.
No, really.
and personally, what surprised you the most when you arrived in Lyon and discovering Southeast France from a business perspective?
Well, before I joined this position, they told me you have to visit a lot of events. You have to travel a lot. Well, as a Dutch person, in our country, we're not, well, we travel, but what is travel? You go from The Hague to Amsterdam, it's 50 minutes. You know, the longest travel, if you go to Eindhoven, it's 2 hours, you know. So I was like, oh, I need to travel a lot. But actually, what I realized here, that the connectivity is so good. If you're like, for example, in this region and you want to do business with Marseille, Montpellier and Grenoble, the connectivity by train is so good. It takes so less time. And these trains, you know, you can work there, it's so comfortable. So I feel like traveling as part of my business is not that intense. And the events here are so well organized. From Lyon to Paris, where our embassy is like only 2 hours. And furthermore, what you also said, you know, the French aren't that bad. That's really not the right phrase, but I think the French are really open. They also realize that for doing international business, they need to adapt. So English is getting better. They are open to having talks. And also, the collaboration between the Netherlands and France, it's like, for example, this year's economic year, we have a really strong economic partnership. So it's like always common to do business together.
So Stefano, thank you for this overview. If you could give just one piece of advice to a Dutch entrepreneur considering this region, what would it be?
Yeah, that is a really good question, because there's difficult to give just one advice always. There are many advices to say, but if I would say is try to first really read into a region. Try to adapt and actually just be well prepared, because that is what the French find very important. We tend to be very enthusiastic, right? The Dutch people, as I said. Mm-hmm. So that's something even I, together with Astrid, she is coaching me very well, is learning about how to approach the French and get stuff done. So I will not mention the museum, but I thought, well, we can do something at this museum. And I just was like, oh, well, I'm going to reach out to them. And hey, I'm Stefano. I'm from, like, for example, in this case, it was the NBSO. But, for example, could be a company, right? And, we would like to collaborate with you. And to be honest, I did not do that much good in my presentation. But because I thought, well, everybody's waiting for us, opening the doors. But they said no. So I was a bit like annoyed. I said, what are they saying? No. But in the end, I thought, well, okay, I should have prepared better. And so that's my advice, you know. If you really want to avoid a no in a region, try to be prepared.
And patient.
Patient, yeah. Patient. And don't get stuff done via email. You have to be at the table, meet people. Come here. We invite you, the NBSO, to come here. Join our apero. Come with us to a football match. Come with us to a museum. We will try again with the museum, but it will work. Come us to visit a harbor, or just be here.
Okay, thank you, Stefano. We are coming to the end of this podcast. Maybe there's something we forgot to mention. Maybe you have the last message about NBSO.
Well, what is important, what I would like to mention again, is our services are free of charge. I often get the question, what makes you different with other organizations which do the same work from the Netherlands? But these are mostly commercial parties. And if I say, well, Netherlands Business Support Office, we do this for free, they're always quite hesitant, because they think, what's the catch, right? Free. But there is no catch, because our mission is supporting trade abroad. You know, it's good for our economy in the Netherlands if we get more business everywhere in the world. That's what we've been doing since ages. So that's what I would like to say. We are free of charge, we're flexible, we're tailored, we're approachable, and we have a very strong network, and we can help you where we can. Reach out to us.
As Stefano mentioned, in France, everything is about relationships. This is the perfect time to start building yours with NBSO here to support you. So before we wrap up this podcast edition, I have one final question for you. It's called the blind question. It's going to be kind of a tradition. What question would you ask to our next guest? We still don't know who he or she will be, but what would you ask?
Oh, a blind question. Yes. Well, the positive side of us, as I said, is of our region is a big region, right? So many sectors, so many cities. that makes it difficult for us also sometimes to just promote one sector or region. So if you would talk about the region and opportunities here to a Dutch entrepreneur, if you had to pick one, what would be your main, let's name it, a selling point for promoting this region?
Okay, thank you. It's recorded and will be asked to the next guest. You've been listening to Business Horizon, the podcast series brought to you by NBSO Lyon, Southeast France, where we explore topics about doing business in France and discuss key opportunities. We also share business culture tips for Dutch companies looking to expand in the vibrant region of Lyon and Southeast France. My name is Fred Cruzet, and thank you for listening. Until next time.